Hi guys, thanks for joining us today. First and foremost, thank you for coming on board as an expert partner with Revenue Hub. Really appreciated. And secondly, thanks for joining us for one of our Who Are We interviews, where we get to lift the hood a little and hear a bit more about TCRM. So let's kick off with some of the fundamentals. I don't mind which one of you takes this, but let's touch on some of the basic stuff first. Like, where are you based? When were you founded? How big are you? So some of those kind of core elements, and then we'll get into a little bit more after that. Who wants to take that on for me?
Sure, Trevor, I'll take that one on. Thank you so much for meeting with us and having us on today. We're so excited. I think I'll start off with a lot of people know us as TCRM. That stands for Total Customized Revenue Management. So just to kind of start off with that, we know the hospitality industry loves acronyms. So here we are at TCRM. So TCRM started in 2012. So we are 13 years young and old. It was started by Lily Mockerman, who is our owner and CEO. And it was really started because I think Lily saw a gap in the quality of revenue management support that was available to a broader range of hotels. And the company it was started in Phoenix, so it's still based in Phoenix, although we are a completely remote company. So sometimes we say that we're based in the cloud because everybody is home office and we're based all over, not just North America, but outside our continent here as well. We have team members. So yeah, officially our address is in Phoenix. And our team, we have a full-time team or employee team of about 20 employees. We do work with a lot of specialized contractors, fully vetted, specialized that we've brought into the team because in revenue management, there's so much technology that it's not possible for just a handful of people to have the experience that we need to serve our clients. So we need to bring in people that have expertise in all of the different brands and systems. And so that is often means a contractor. And I will say I divide our business really into three categories at this point. Our primary focus now is long-term revenue management. A lot of people call it revenue management for hire or outsourced revenue management, fractional revenue management, but that's where we become the director of revenue for our clients. And we, of course, do it remotely and we do it according to their needs, which David will talk a lot about because we are customized. And that's our main category now.
Yep.
The second category is task force, which is kind of how TCRM did get started, is in providing task force services to hotels. At the time, it was a lot more in person, whereas now that's pretty rare to have any revenue management task force be in person. Of course, it's not quite necessary, but we can do it. And our third category is miscellaneous or project work. And there's a lot that goes in there, and I think David will probably talk more about that. But it's all, if it touches revenue or commercial strategy, and we've got someone strong to put on the project, we're going to do it. So we don't ever want to say no to a project, but we also don't want to do less than a stellar job. That's kind of
It's
course
balancing that act, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So that is us in a nutshell.
And Kathryn, what's your role in the company? What's your kind of background?
Yeah, I am the Chief Operating Officer for TCRM, and I have been in hotels and specifically revenue management for over 20 something many years. And my role with TCRM is really, creating the structure of the company, focusing. I put a lot of focus on our service and the team itself in selecting and growing and engaging the team
Right.
to keep them performing and
Hmm.
happy, and to make sure that they have all the tools that they need. And then, of course, there's the side of having a profitable and functioning company that is also part of my role too. But for me, my absolute focus is our service and the team because we want it to be nothing but the best.
Perfect. And thank you for introducing yourself and introducing TCRM. Um, let's talk a little bit. You touched on it about the customization and how that adjusts and the three services you offer to your clients. Let's talk a bit about your typical, I mean, is there a typical client profile? Is it resorts? Is it city? Is it large? Is it small? Is it branded? Independent? I think I've covered a few options in there. Who can tell us a bit about the clients? David, is that going to be you that's going to talk to us a bit about that bit?
Yep, I'll be happy to do that. So thank you, Trevor. So there we have several different types of clients that we work with, but generally speaking, the profile is going to be high-end, independent, luxury hotels, or upper upscale and up, basically.
Hmm.
We'll work with independent hotels as well as branded hotels that fit that space. Um, Oftentimes, that could also include boutique and lifestyle properties. So our main focus is the upper upscale uh, chain of service, if you will,
Yep.
and small groups that have anywhere from one to maybe five or six hotels in their company.
Okay.
We don't work with the larger groups
Hmm.
for the long-term service, primarily because in most cases they already have their revenue management infrastructure in place,
Yeah.
right? And so I really spoke just about like the long-term service that Kathryn was describing. That's that type of profile. When we look at the other types of services that we provide, which is task force and that other catch-all consulting um, service, then we sort of broaden the type of client we'll work with at that point. For example, with task force, the majority of our task force is done here in the U.S.
Hmm.
And the typical client is going to be a large third-party management company. And in
Okay.
that case, as I said, they already have their infrastructure in place, they have their teams, but like all companies, they go through growing pains and they may have turnover or staffing changes. Perhaps they have people that go on long leaves of absence. And so as a result, they may require our assistance for a short-term interim basis.
Got you.
So that type of client is a little bit different because again, we're not really focused on just the independent or just the luxury level type of hotel. We will work with whatever their type of property in their company. At
Hmm.
that point, we may go down to mid-scale as an example.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. And from a geographical point of view, I mean, obviously, as you say, you're based in the US. Is that where I assume that's where the majority of your clients? Is that where all of your clients are, or do you have other international clients? Are you looking to develop international clients? What's the views
Yeah.
on that side?
Great question. So predominantly, yes, I'd say 90% of our business is North America,
Hmm.
but we do have and we have worked with clients in Europe and Central and South America as well. So
Okay,
and we have hotels in the Caribbean that we work with. So predominantly North America, but we don't restrict ourselves to just North America.
I've got you. I've got you.
And so there is a focus on international expansion.
Perfect. And David, your kind of role within the organization and your background, if you could share a bit on that.
Sure. Yeah. I'm the executive director of strategic accounts. So primarily my role here is sales for the company. So business development, account management. And my background has been revenue management most of my career. Like Kathryn, I've been in the business for a very long time, over 20 years in revenue management. And I joined TCRM about 6 years ago, initially not in sales, but
Hmm.
I moved into sales 5 years ago.
Perfect. Thank you for the introduction and for outlining your typical clients. Okay, some of they're like what we call the fundamental questions, just sort of framing things a little bit. So if anyone's listening and thinking, do I do I need that type of service? Am I their type of client profile? At least they could maybe tick a couple of boxes there as well. Now, I guess it's that why should I be talking to TCRM? So I don't know which one of you wants to take this, or you can jump in and each outline what you think is really of value or of importance. But I guess I just want to hear the TCRM story. What are you guys all about? What makes you different? Why do you stand out? So over to you. I think we know what we're looking for in this part of the conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, Trevor, you'll find that both David and I have a lot to say in this area. You probably will have to shut us up at some point because we feel really strongly about what we represent. And I'll take it back to the beginning and TCRM being founded on, there kind of being a lack of skilled and qualified revenue management professionals that were available to any client, and especially that would provide personalized service, right? Because in many times revenue management is completely focused on the technology that we use and mastering that technology, and focusing everything around that technology, what it can and can't do. Of course, that's a huge part of revenue management implementation, but you need the strategy as well. And the strategy is going to vary depending on the individual client, not just the property, but the market, the team that exists, what the owner's looking for. So we really treat every client very individually. We kind of describe that it would probably be so much easier on David if he could present to clients, here's package A or package B or package C, what would you like? But he spends so much time with every potential client, really finding out their needs. And of course, sometimes, hotels don't always know exactly what their needs always are in revenue management.
I was going to say that must be the challenge. They're often coming to get advice as what they should be doing, rather than saying this is what we actually need.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly right. Yeah. So, I mean, we do have some core package offerings, but that fit a certain need. But oftentimes, like Kathryn said, they may not know that there are other things that they really need and what they're looking for. So my role really is to try to uncover as much of that as possible through those conversations in the sales process. And then the matchmaking is really key as well. And we'll talk about our team a little bit later, but a good part of what I do is once I've figured out the service level that the client would need, is then identifying the right person on our team to associate them with. And that way, we can deliver the best possible service at that point.
Mm-hmm. Kathryn, you mentioned obviously you started, as you said, 13 years ago. I mean, there's been growth during that time. There's been challenges, obviously, through the pandemic and coming out from that. What would you say is the essence of TCRM that has kind of continued that longevity and growth and made your clients buy into you, stay with you? What is it about your culture, your service? What can you talk to on that side of things?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, COVID did a number on everybody in our industry, right? And we learned a lot. I think one of the biggest things we learned is we had some time to dig into who are our clients and how are they finding us, and how are we finding them? And what we learned was far and away the quantity of business that we get by referral and repeat business. It's not even close to any other method of getting leads. So that's where we've put our focus is on relationships. And that's David does that every day, all day. But relationships as well between our consultants and the hotel teams that they're working with. I think we put a huge focus on establishing trust with our clients as quickly as possible because as I said, there's a lot of technology involved in revenue management, but there's a lot of relationship as well. And so we really have our team make sure that, I always say, the first 3 to 4 weeks, you got to gain their trust. You got to get the shorthand in your communication together, because this is a huge role that we play. We don't take that lightly. People, hotels, GMs, owners are putting a lot in our hands when they entrust us with
Absolutely.
the logins and passwords to
Yeah.
all their systems and managing their revenue. And so we need to make sure that they know how much we take that seriously. And I think one of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten from a client was talking to a GM of a hotel that was in a market that I think this was a year ago, maybe wasn't doing great. It was not a growth market. And, the consultant working on the project was trying this, that, the everything, making suggestions, doing research, all the things. And I talked to the GM and she said, the truth is, I think let's call her Sue. I think Sue cares at least as much, if not more, than I do about the revenue success of this hotel. And this was the GM saying that. And so I think that's what you'll find in our team. I try to, tamp it down like, hey, take time off. You don't need to check email on the weekends, right? But they really, it's a relationship. It's
Yeah.
it's an absolute. We're not just kind of numbers, people out here running reports. We're having relationships.
That makes a lot of sense. And David, I mean, you said obviously you're closely balancing between looking internally at your team and those that you obviously have available from a task force point of view, and then also working with the clients and getting that match up right. What can you tell us? What could you share about the TCRM team and the consultants that you're working with, and what do you think makes them stand out as individuals?
Well, I think a great deal of what Kathryn just said about the communication piece and that they care is important. But also, what we've done is through the last couple of years is we've really focused on recruitment and the multiple steps that we go through for that. And it's not just filling out an application and then interviewing them and saying, "Yep, you're hired," or what have you. There's a lot that goes into our recruitment process, and we try to ensure that they're not only skilled in the systems and have the right business acumen, but that they're actually good people. And we have several assessments that we put all of our applicants through with the end goal of determining will they be a good fit for our company and will they be a good fit for our clients.
It makes a lot of sense. So I guess that also ties back into what you were saying, Kathryn, about the fact that so much trust is given by the clients to you guys that you've got to be pretty much 100% absolutely nailed down sure that you've got the right person on board, not only in terms of skills but in terms of their values, their ethics, their morality as well, because you are opening them up into a lot of very sensitive information.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just said that. And I think that so often the hiring process is really just focused on, well, are you certified in this brand? Or, how many years of experience do you have in this PMS or this RMS? And putting, more focus on that. And I don't mean to say that that's not important. I mean, every single day our team is knee deep in all of our hotel systems. But, I'd say that we've learned to hire more for culture and professionalism and integrity and intelligence
Mm-hmm.
and emotional intelligence and communication skills. Uh, and then, kind of provide the support to grow in any system knowledge that's not already there. Yeah, so as David said, it is a rigorous talent acquisition process. We have people that kind of bail out in the middle of it, which is that's okay. And we love, I think when David and I hear feedback of, wow, this is a lot, but I'm already impressed with your company by how much you're asking of me. Like it
Yeah.
tells me that you have a high standards and people want to work for a company like that.
Yeah, people don't mind rigor and being put under a bit of pressure if they feel there's a purpose for it, and if they can see that you have those values and quality and that trust, again, to use that word, and that's why you want to be 100% sure. Well, if you have a problem with those values, then fine. If you bail out halfway through, no one's going to lose any sleep over it, are they?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Makes a lot of sense. If you were to try and sum up, I think it's probably going to repeat some of what you've already said, but I'm conscious of your time. So just trying to package this all together now. If I was to go and speak to a cross section of your clients, what do you think would be some key words or key phrases they may share with me as to why they stay loyal to you guys and why they continue to work with you guys?
I would say, and I think Kathryn hit on it, it's integrity.
Mm-hmm.
We always put our clients first in every role, whether it's myself or Kathryn or the consultants that are actually doing the revenue management work for their properties. Integrity comes first. We put the client ahead of our needs and ourselves. And I think that speaks volumes for the type of company we are. We have core values that are incredibly important to us. And we came up with these core values, I don't know, 6 years ago, maybe, or even longer than that. And we live and breathe these core values every day. It's like optimize in every way, find a better way, have each other's back. Things like that that are important to us, but we carry that forward with our clients as well and our hotels. Kathryn, is there anything you'd like to add?
I guess the only thing I'd add is that integrity is a huge word, but also that I think our clients are happiest when they truly see that we are part of their team.
Mm-hmm.
We're of course, we're a third party, but that's not how we handle our relationships with our clients. We don't kind of clock in and out or, say, well, this is in my column and this is in your column. I mean, we are there with them to find success for the hotel. And if that means, kind of doing something that's not typically in our job description, that's okay. I mean, we're all here for each other. So the fact that our clients consider us part of their team, and I mean, truly, like inviting them to, holiday get-togethers and stuff when it makes sense, that is the biggest compliment.
Very
Yeah.
good. That pretty much wraps up all the questions we ask. As we say, these are short and sweet. Who are we? Brief introductions, a chance to, and I think this encapsulates why we do it, because a lot of what you've spoken about is very hard to convey through a website, and so being able to hear from the leaders within the company and share the values and share the cultures and share your kind of standards and principles and code of operation, those are factors that we like to bring through on these interviews. So thank you for sharing those thoughts with us. Any final comments before we wrap this up and let you get back to what you're doing, helping your clients out?
Yeah, I'd love to share just some of our successes. So, we're not a giant corporation or anything like that, but we have close to 60 hotels that are part of our family, if you will, that they're long-term clients. They've been outsourcing their revenue strategy or revenue management service to us for, in some cases, many years. And in some cases, we have hotels that have been with us 9, 10 years. So that's something that we're very proud of. Some of the other successes that we have is we have a client satisfaction ranking of between 95 and 96%. And this is a survey that we've been sending out to clients since 2021. So we're really proud of the fact that for the most part, 95 to 96%, our clients are very satisfied with our services.
That's pretty good.
It is. And then what speaks to that also is the retention rate, which is at about 90%. So it's rare, in fact, very rare, when a hotel signs up to work with us on a long-term basis that they leave. As I said, some of them have been with us 8, 9, 10 years.
Mhm.
Over half of our portfolio has been with us more than 6 years at this point. And those that are less than that are because as we've been growing our company, they're still new
Yeah.
to the TCRM family at this point.
Very good. Very good. Some good final points to finish on, but important to stress. And I think, as you say, that underpins, those statistics underpin the points that you've made in terms of how you as an organization view your role in helping your clients, and that seems to also manifest, that culture and values manifest itself down into the consultants that you hire, and then how you match them up with your clients. So that would lend itself as to why you have the high retention rates and that high credibility and reputation score. So no, great credit to you guys for what you're doing. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate the time to meet you. Look forward to working with you and hopefully bringing you into some other discussions that we will have, where we can start to talk on some topics and some areas where you're adding value to your clients and where you can maybe help share that with some of our community as well. So look forward to speaking to you again in the future. Thanks so much.